transferred to these kids. The fear on their face and the stress like in their voice, like, what, it's 3 pages? Like, what do you mean it's a 6-minute song? And as we continue to work on it, it went from like this stress of, oh God, we're practicing that one today, to, can we do Fable? Are we working on Fable? Why aren't we working on Fable? And it was those type of questions. And so through their hard work and their perseverance to put together that song, it came out amazing. It is definitely a challenge for them, and they rose to it, and I'm so incredibly proud of all the hard work that they put in. Can you give them another round of applause? To give them obviously some challenges, and also like to expose them to different composers. This next piece is by Frank Ticheli, very, very different style of music. And it was interesting because we were talking about it the other day in rehearsal, and I mentioned what the whole purpose of the piece and where the joy comes from, and how it came from the composer actually getting a tune in his head and then writing it down after the birth of his daughter. And so very, very different styles, where we talked about the last piece being Fable with fairy tales, and it's kind of the grim kind of fairy tales, and now all of a sudden we're entering a different part of childhood. So here's our next piece called Joy. Gavin and Tim for stepping in to add in some of our percussion. These songs, at first I put them away because I was like, we don't have enough percussionists to do it. I was like, oh, you know what? These guys can rise to the challenge. Some of them are doubling on some different instruments and shifting around back there. And then when I came down to it, I was like, oh, we can add a couple more. So I want to give them a round of applause for thanking them so much. And this gives him some extra time to tune too, because apparently he's still doing that over there. And the other thing I just want to say to these kids is thank you for all of their hard work. Thank you to the parents for all of your endurance and listening to them practice. It's really fun with this group. It's a large 8th grade, and I'm really enjoying every rehearsal we have. It is not just learning the notes and the rhythms. We're making music, and that's something incredible. And I hope they're taking that as a lifelong lesson, like mentioned before, that they can carry on. And I'm really looking forward to seeing them when they're here at the high school in the next couple years, performing with the other guys that are out there too. Thank you for encouraging. Thank you for supporting. And our last piece is Night of the Dark Horse.
the symphonic band portion of the concert. My name is Greg Clark, and this group is a lot of fun to work with. I think you're really going to enjoy this portion of the program. Our first piece that we're playing is the Billboard March. This was written in 1901. It was dedicated to a really popular music industry magazine, Billboard magazine, which is still around. It still makes things like the Billboard Hot 100. It's the same organization. It was written by a guy named John Clore, who didn't originally think that this was his best piece of work. And like many artists, he would later find out that something he sort of liked was really beloved by other people. And he made that decision after royalties from this song bought him a house in Cincinnati. And so it's a lot of fun, and if you were at our concert last spring, this was one of the 30-plus melodies that existed in Instant Concert as well, so it might be a little familiar. Enjoy. next piece up today is it's called Ashokan Farewell, and this is a piece that really became famous after the 1990 Ken Burns documentary, The Civil War. This was a piece that was originally written to sound like a Scottish lament, and it kind of has that Appalachia old, like, just a couple of old boys down on the farm, really chill, beautiful, old-timey Americana stuff. And it sounded right at home during the Civil War, except it was written in 1982. And it was written by this guy named Jay Unger, who's fairly local. He's an upstate New York guy. And the Ashokan Center, home to, I wrote down the official name of the camp, the Ashokan Dance and Fiddle Camp, which is actually a place I visited last summer. Not for the camp, for other reasons, but regardless, it's not that far. It's in the Catskills, and it's really lovely. And it was just written to be played on violin, and to sound beautiful and expressive. And it became this really major piece of kind of that old-timey Americana culture. So we are not the first group in the last few years to play a version of this, but this is really lovely. And we have a solo coming up from Kate Patnode on saxophone. our very last piece. I just want to give one more shout out to our 8th graders. 8th graders, this is a really fun night for me. This is kind of my sneak preview of coming attractions. We're really happy to host you here because this will be your home and it won't be very long. And this will be you and it's so fun. And I remember when this specific group and the one before them and the one we're here and it lets my imagination go and I'm so excited to be able to work with you in the future. We're about to play A Thousand Hills Overture by Claude T. Smith. This is another American composer. He grew up in Missouri, taught in public schools in Missouri and Nebraska, wound up being a professor at Southwest Missouri State, and that reminds me of another story. But a lot of times in class, I had the kids put me on the clock, like, all right, guys, I have a story. Only give me 30 seconds. I'm going to save all that because we've got a long night of great music, but I was really happy to see that to Kelly on the program for you guys. This is a lot of fun. We have a trumpet solo in the middle from Daniel Wu, and thank you so much. And I can't wait to hear the one ensemble after this. Thank you for being such a wonderful audience.
Thank you, everybody. This is the, actually, before I get started with these guys, I'd like to give a round of applause for the High School Symphonic Band, please. This is truly my favorite performance that the high school bands give every year, because it's a great way for all the students in the room and the families in the room to see what the future holds, and also as a nice reminder as to where we've been and how far we've come from when we were sitting in these seats, and how this is really just one phenomenal team and family of music making here. That first piece, Emperado Overture, was a real challenge, but a lot of fun to put together. Just a really well-composed piece of music, and we enjoyed preparing it. The group that's behind me right now, Mr. Wyman said before, this is the High School Wind Ensemble. It's an audition group of students that meet every other day at 7:30 in the morning, and I think between this group and the jazz ensemble that you heard tonight, this is probably one of the most student-led, student-driven ensembles that I've had the pleasure of working with. I feel like I'm a guest in their band every day. That what they want to make happen up here and down here in our music making is a result of what they're doing, and I'm just kind of here to help them along. And to kind of demonstrate that, I have some student volunteers to help me out here with what we're doing for this next piece. So, Douglas, why don't you come up here, all right? So, I'm going to introduce to you a couple of members of our brass section, all seniors. This is Ryan Renka, Toby Weiss, Sam Wu. These are members of the band, seniors here, that have kind of grown into like de facto captains here of our band. Let's come a little bit closer here. So, I wanted to make sure that everybody was hearing from more than just me and tonight. So I've asked them to come and have a little conversation with me here about the piece that you're going to hear, which I think is kind of the focal piece of our program, Journey Through Orion by Julie Giroux. So I think first, Toby's going to tell us about the program notes from the composer herself.
So the program notes read that pictures of the Great Orion Nebula, Bernard's Loop, M78,
M43, the molecular clouds 1 and 2, and the Horsehead Nebula never cease to capture my imagination. I have journeyed there many times in my mind, so I decided to sketch that journey with notes. Travel with the music 1,500 light years away in the constellation Orion the Hunter, into the molecular cloud complex, and through the Great Orion Nebula, where stars and ideas are born.
Thanks, Toby. And what's cool about this piece, it's obviously has this space kind of theme to it. One of the things that you're going to hear, and I hope I'm not stealing from Ryan or from Sam here, is this composer actually borrows from some of the famous composers that we know that have written for music about space, like Star Wars, right? Who was written by who, everybody? John Williams. John Williams, one of his favorite composers was Gustav Holst, famous composer who wrote The Planets, among other things. This group is going to get to work on, after this piece here, music by both Gustav Holst and John Williams for House Concert in the Spring. It's pretty cool how it all comes together. Now, Ryan, I think you've got our next one here. In your own words, how do you think Julie Giroux, how do you think she kind of creates this space kind of vibe here for us in the music that you're about to have our audience listen to?
I mean, I think the most important thing to look at is what are we creating? We all picture space. Sure, we're imagining maybe emptiness, but in space, there's more than emptiness. There's clouds of gas. There's stars. These stars are all fueled by energy. This energy is either coming together to create beauty, such as life on Earth, or it can come together destructively to create stars and even black holes that suck in all of the galaxy. And I think one of the main things you're going to hear in this piece is the way that this energy is colliding with each other. They're going to collide beautifully to create harmonies and soaring melodies, or will it collide destructively, use of dissonance and almost scary chords that really make us want to jump and like, sure that's right. And I think those different ways of really making music come together to tell a story and paint the picture that Toby just described for us is how she really brings this image to life.
Thank you, Ryan, and I hope the group gets that as well. This is just a snapshot of time, you getting to hear this performance, but I think what's a good thing to remember is this is music that we've literally been working on since the first minute of the entire school year. This group rehearses at 7:30. This is the first building in the district to start. This is the very first thing that happened, this whole district, and you're going to get to hear a little bit about how this came together from that very, very first day. So Sam, I think you're next. Can you give our audience a little peek behind the curtain as to how we prepared this work?
Yeah, of course. Well, I'm actually going to take us all back to that first day. We're back in September. We're coming here. We're excited to make some music for the new year. And I walk over to my seat and I see this song, Julie Giroux's Journey Through Orion. And I'm going to be completely straight up with everyone here. I don't think I'd ever heard that piece before that day. And I'm going to be honest, I don't think Ryan or Toby had either. But, nevertheless, we got started, and at the beginning it was a little slow going. It sounded a lot less like music and a lot more just noise. But, Mr. Fertizzo made this really great analogy that working on a piece of music was no different than painting a picture. And so we painted that picture of a horse. And, I don't know if y'all can see this, but trust me, in the beginning, it needed some work. But we even employed the help of Tim, our friend in the back. I want everyone to say hi, Tim, right here. Tim is a great percussionist. He's a great musician. But, his visual arts are, it's a work in progress, right? But Mr. Fertizzo said that with that piece of artwork, with that piece of music, we need to pay attention to the little details, the contrast, the tone, our dynamics, and our colors. And, bit by bit, it came together. And now we're here today. We're ready. And we're really excited to show you all what we've been working on.
Sam, hey, about a round of applause for yourself. For Tim, who covered some 8th grade percussion and drew a pretty That paints a little bit of a picture here about what the group is doing, and also that's what I mean. That's student-driven and student leadership here, and I'm very grateful to have students like this in this program, and we're really excited to get to perform Julie Giroux's Journey Through Orion for you tonight. these students are so fortunate to be able to hold on to this recording as long as they care to and remember this great performance they're giving tonight. And for anybody in your family that wants to, put this on after we finish the turkey next week. And that's all thanks to the help tonight from Mr. Andy Maycock and his tech crew. So about a round of applause for I personally think I have one of the best jobs in this district. Really. Because these kids are brilliant. Those kids are brilliant. These ones aren't too. And I get to work with them every single day, and they inspire me to pick really challenging music, really beautiful music to get to deliver to all of you. And I feel like my job becomes a little easier, because I don't have to just teach notes and rhythms and intonation, but I can teach things like leadership, teamwork, and responsibility, and respect, and all those things that are professionalism, things that at this level are just as important as everything else that we're doing. This is a team, this is a family up here. And I'm only able to do that because I get to enjoy the benefits of the work of everybody who's had the pleasure to teach these students before me. One of the reasons why I think my job is so great is I do 1 day a week at Farnsworth Middle School teaching 6th grade trumpet lessons and 8th grade bassoons. And I get to see the absolutely outstanding hard work that Alexa St. Clair and Jason Utter do at Farnsworth Middle School every day. And I don't think they get enough credit for how much they make this happen on stage. So how about a round of applause for It's how great this group sounds and how fantastic Mr. Clark and the symphonic band did just earlier tonight that we get to do this great stuff up here. Folks, thank you so much for coming out this evening. 2 weeks from tonight, Susan Curo and the high school and 8th grade orchestra program give their fall concert. A week after that, the high school and 8th grade choir. So there's a lot going on this busy time of year. Thank you so much for coming out and listening. We hope everybody has a happy Thanksgiving, and we'll see you at the Pops concert. This is Seuss's Black Horse Troupe. Oh, by the way, let's talk about this for just a second with this horse theme here. We added a fun little twist to this Sousa march. Sousa was a famous composer of marches. He used to take his band all the way around the country, promoting American music, promoting music in schools, like what we're doing right now. And all of his concerts had a little gimmick to them. And so for the Black Horse Troupe, when he premiered this in New York, actually, down on Long Island, he brought out horses. So tonight, for our concert, I'm glad to introduce behind this curtain, not quite, but we did our very best to include a little bit of a tribute to a horse in here. I hope you can find it. This is Seuss's Black Horse Troupe. Thank you very much, everybody.